So I just wanted to beat your pain in the ass buddy.
He's okay.
Yeah, he has a... Well, I won't say it now because you're on.
Yeah.
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Kaz.
John, wait, wait.
Whoa.
That didn't look good.
Come on, Mike.
Mike, Mike
Yeah.
didn't bring his A game tonight?
No, he didn't. But, hey, actually, we have a caller on here. But before we get started today, as some of you know, maybe some of you don't know, we have not been on the air for the last couple of weeks. And the reason for that is that, is it okay if I talk about your mom for a sec?
You could. I don't want her,
Yeah, well, I mean, Kaz's mom passed away recently, and she had been ill, but she finally passed away, and she was a great lady. Every time I would run into her, I loved seeing her, and she's beloved in the entire city. Actually, everybody, all the elected officials that I know love her, and Kaz, I'm really sorry to hear that, and with that being said, let's get on with the show.
I think we got Buckle On Man.
Yeah, we got John back. Go ahead, John. How are you doing?
It's good, Kaz. You got my deepest sympathy in your family.
Hey, thanks,
I
John.
have a couple of things. I heard the mayor on that talk show with Scott Brebner.
Oh, okay.
He's a package. But discussing, a caller came in and said they wanted to bottle Lake Erie water. Or the water department to bottle water. I guess the mayor's not up on the fluoride in the water, and that's one of the reasons why Budweiser wouldn't even come into this town.
Right.
Because of the fluoridation. So this man is not with it very well. I don't know. I think he's in another world.
Who wanted to bottle the water? The mayor?
One of the callers said that they should bottle the water. I think if they bottle it up in Buffalo, I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
But if they do bottle it in Buffalo, you know they're not medicating the water.
I can tell you, I was in Virginia once, John. I was in a Walmart, and I don't know what made me do it. I picked up a gallon of water, and it says on there it said product of Buffalo Municipal Water, and I was surprised,
Yeah.
And what I was told by a gentleman that was in the beer industry, that what they do is they take the water and they make it H2O before they use it. But you're right about one thing, that any chemicals they have to take out is an extra cost. So if they got a choice between water that's, most of it's going to be chlorinated anyway, but that's why they like stream water. They'll take it, they'll purify it and make it basic chemical water.
But I think, John, you're right, though. You can't, we have fluoride in our water, so I don't think we could bottle it.
Well, that's one more you got to take out of there.
Yeah. I think it would cost a lot of money to take it out.
Actually, the Water Authority does have bottles of water.
Our water?
That's probably just standby in the event of an emergency.
Well, I've seen them distributed at different events. If we have conventions here or different events, they have the water. They're not selling it though.
No. Well, I don't drink Erie water. I have an osmosis product. I run mine through osmosis and take all the impurities out.
Yeah, I know they disagree with us, but really I think I've said for years, and I agree with that one lady, you could provide pills, the money to buy the fluoride tablets, a lot cheaper, and it wouldn't bother people who, especially women who have certain problems, they can't take the fluoride.
Well, back then, there was no such thing as bottled water back then.
If I'm going to be medicated, my doctor's going to medicate me, not the water department.
Heck, we used to drink out of hoses.
Yeah.
Back then, in those days, when they,
Well, they did was chlorinated back then, though,
Yeah.
Yeah, and chlorination, you let that set for 24 hours, it'll go out.
Right.
Now, I have another thing.
Go ahead, we're ready.
Wells is considering a market down on the lakefront. Does he know what it's like down there from, let's say, November till May?
What do you mean, the mayor?
No, Casey Wells.
Well, that's been proposed for a long time. That was, that project, I think they just got some grant money for it.
Yeah, they got almost, I think it's $2.5 million or something.
Yeah.
But you know, I live down there.
Yeah.
You know what it's like, from, like I'm saying, from November to the end of April, March. It's desolate down there. And besides that, Wisniewski had a plan for the GAF site 8 years ago when he ran for council again.
Who you mean, David Brennan?
No, Jim Wisniewski.
Yeah, but David Brennan had a plan.
Well, I don't know about his plan, but Wisniewski said he had a plan and that would bring taxable income on the table. I'm still waiting.
Well, there was a plan that, there was a rough drawing that David Brennan presented a plan a number of years ago, his own independent plan, because he's an architect. The Civic Center presented a plan. Some of Dave's ideas were not outlandish, but they all centered around creating a village that incorporated commercial, retail, and residential.
Well, that's a plan panel that proposed way back in the 80s.
Probably, and they've all, where David differed, David incorporated a park in there, which the Civic Center plan did too, but David envisioned a little canal that ran through the village, but...
Like a mall.
Yeah, but the problem with the canal idea was you got that contaminated ground in there.
Well, true. And the whole thing there with the GAF site, you go down 4 feet, you're going to get liquors and everything else.
Right. But I mean, his idea was, you know, it was a prospectus. Both plans were good, and both plans incorporated a market house, John. But if it was open, it wouldn't be open every day, I wouldn't think.
Well, they said this was going to be open round the clock and everything else, like the old 12th Street Market.
Yeah, but most of the market houses I see now, even in the east, in the bigger cities, they're, except for the one in Philadelphia, they call the, I think that's a Reading Mall.
Yes, there's one in Reading too.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the one in Philly's called after the railroad, the Reading Mall.
Oh yeah,
But,
and they had produce and everything else along the streets, and the best time to go shopping there is towards the end of the day, especially on a Saturday.
but like Allentown, Bethlehem, Lancaster, and the rest, they don't keep theirs open. They're open like 2 or 3 days a week.
I remember when they were, each of them were proposing what we do down there. I felt Dave Brennan's was the best.
I did too. I
Out
mean,
of all.
even if you threw out the canal idea,
Right.
because of he had like little streets that were all, you know, delineated, and
Right.
there was a green space,
You know, recently
boat docks, everything there.
I'm starting to really guess Casey Wells and actually what's going on over there with that team, because
For money from the outside, they're looking for government money and all that.
Well, the problem is they market it I'm not on that committee.
But this is part of Governor Wolf's project, and if they get the money from him and all that other stuff, you know, it's...
Well, I think the problem was, John, they tried to market it, I know on 2 occasions when I was on council, and they were not very successful.
Well, just like the McAllister building.
Yep, they were looking like one person or one company to come in and basically, you know, develop it. When that didn't work, and I think they bid it out twice, then they started looking to parcel it out. Now you got something going on. I just talked to Mr. Melody. I saw him 3 days ago. He's getting ready to open up his oyster bar seafood place. It's not going to be entirely seafood oyster, but
we're at.
he's actually opening it in that parking ramp. He's building that addition.
Oh, that's finally coming to fruition.
Did you see that? Well, no, it's there. It's like two or three stories.
Behind
It's
the
attached to
hotel?
the, huh?
Behind the hotel.
No, well, yeah, attached to that parking ramp.
Uh-huh.
That's behind the, not the Sheraton one, but the other one.
Right.
And so I talked to him, he's getting ready to open it,
You know, I started,
Hotel in Chicago, I'll go.
these.
Pardon?
The Drake Hotel
Oh,
in Chicago. Now, they serve great food there.
well, John Melody has a good track record with,
Yeah,
he's got numerous, since he sold Molly Brannigan's, he's been, what's he got, John? He's got Harbor House.
yeah,
Yeah.
they got all those ones.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pretty good success. It'll be a nice place, and Nick Scott will be opening up his, I think that's coming pretty quick.
I think they're having a rooftop bar on that one
One
too.
more thing, I'll
Yeah.
get off the air. I hear the water department wants to put transceivers in the homes, and so they don't have to.
Yeah, they contacted me. I got a letter. They want to come in and install it.
Yeah, you know that according to Harvard Medical School, those transceivers cause cancer.
Really? Did you get a letter from them?
I got a letter.
I did too, and they're trying to hook up with me to, they want you to clean a path, and they'll set up a date, and they'll be coming in.
Yeah, they want to do it with me too, but it's going to be a long time before I get it done.
Didn't somebody else use that, like gas or electric?
Yeah, well, the gas companies, they put your meters on the outside, so they read
But-
out that way.
Somebody had something one time.
The phone company reads on the inside, and there's another one that they have a unit on the outside they can drive by. It's just eliminating jobs. That's all that's doing.
Oh, you know it is, because you get very few, well, you're lucky if they read it, once every other month?
What's that?
Any of them anymore.
I see the gas man all the time.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I even chit-chat with him a lot. So, us old Penelec guys, we want to talk to everybody.
Yep, there you go.
So I'll get off the air. So, again, Kaz, my deepest sympathy, and hang in there.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for calling, John. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah,
guys, I'm going to be a little critical
Yeah, go ahead.
of the convention center.
But you're allowed to be. I've been critical with them on certain things.
I
too.
mean, every time we have a major project,
Yeah.
they're not even close to being on budget. I mean, the Warner, they were like, what, 10 million off, and eventually they're going to have to start cutting things. And I remember the Civic Center.
I will say this, the Civic Center, I don't know who to blame, okay?
You got to blame the
Well,
guy.
I know it was the screw up came with the general contractor, and they had to rebid the dang thing.
Yeah.
And as a result, what happened was they
So
had to eliminate stuff.
So what they wanted to eliminate, hold on one second, caller, please. So what they wanted to do was eliminate the luxury box suites. I remember that.
And the escalator, they had an escalator plan in there.
So,
And the front was supposed to be higher
yeah,
continuously.
the number one reason why stadiums around the country rebuild is because they don't have proper luxury suites, because that's where you get your sponsorships and your main source of income from. Why would you cut that?
They were supposed to put a sports bar up there
Yeah,
that was open to everyone, not just
the
the high
costs.
ticket.
I bought a ticket from up there. Costs twice as much as a regular ticket.
Yeah.
We'll get back to them in a minute. Go
And
ahead, caller.
they eliminate team stores too.
You there, caller?
Hello? But they eliminated team stores too.
Right.
Now with the Warner, I think the problem there was, they didn't get started and the government money was flat from the Commonwealth. Wasn't, what do you call it? There wasn't enough there to, but no, that's a real problem when you have to rebid, it never is good.
No, but to cut that, I mean, we can't. We have an arena now that's under 10,000 seats. We can't get a concert here.
Hey, here's what they tell you. This is what I've noted about Erie. In other towns, if they run out of money, they raise it. I mean, if they're short. In Erie, if the project is 20 million, the state gives you 15.
Yeah.
They bill it for 15.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I understand you have to make cuts, But to make the decision to cut the luxury suites, which are major, there's the brain trust right there.
Yeah, but there was a lot of amenities they cut.
Yeah.
I mean, they cut the escalator, they cut the
To cut the number one,
team stores that,
that's what generates your revenue.
well, the team stores would have generated revenue for the teams.
Correct. Yeah. But to do that, and then to keep the arena under 10,000 seats, I mean, there are tons of popular music acts on tour
Yeah.
this year.
But what's the maximum we can get in there?
I think was 8,000 or
No,
something.
I think, I heard a wild figure.
Not 10.
No, 9,000 and some with,
It's just below 10.
that's assuming though, you have a small stage,
Right.
not, somebody like what Kenny Rogers used to use.
Yeah.
Not a, if you get like a rock opera stage or a
Yeah.
country music stage,
Right.
that figure drops down because how big they are.
I mean, the fact that,
Well,
I'm questioning
I had an argument with Casey
their
Walls,
decisions.
and I remember this
Yes.
argument, I had a fraternity brother
Yeah.
who was big in the arts industry in Erie,
Right.
okay, and he told me way back, Erie used to get concerts because they were a stopping point between
Correct.
major cities.
Yeah, it's right on I-90 when the
But-
field house was right there.
But when the concerts changed, and it was no longer Gannon, didn't fit that, because we used to get big names in Gannon,
Right, I remember that, yeah.
but, the difference between 4,000 and 10,000 today is a lot.
For sure.
Because back then, the concerts were designed to spin records, to
Right.
sell records.
Right.
Today, they are their own show.
Yeah, right,
They're a money-making arm.
right.
They don't use them to sell the
To
product.
promote, right.
So now it's important, but you're right. So this is the argument I had with Casey once. Tried to say that we lost TSO because of our amusement tax.
A bull crap.
And I said, I looked at the arena schedule for TSO that year.
Yeah,
And absent was all these cities that had, and I checked the seating capacity.
under 10,000.
Well, they were all like, debatable.
Yeah,
Now, Youngstown kept it because they could sell 2 shows out in a smaller arena, so they
Right.
kept them. But basically,
we
what they
sold 2.
decided was TSO could go to Cleveland, set up one more day,
yeah,
and why come to Erie?
right, where they can have 20,000 people instead.
Now, all of a sudden, we still have the amusement tax,
Yeah,
but now we've added seats. And TSO is what, playing 2 shows?
right,
So who's kidding who?
yeah, you're
right?
right, they didn't play here this year. I was gonna,
Well, they didn't because I think what they feel is like, if they don't change the show, it's like they used to do with the circus or the ice shows. They feel like, okay, it's probably not, take a year off is good.
Right.
But when they came here, they were doing 2 shows the last couple of years
right.
and
They
selling
were.
it and doing pretty good.
Yeah, Yeah.
But you're right, John. I said to him one time, if you don't have 10,000 fixed seats, not,
yeah.
you don't. you're
It
not
has to
open.
say 10,000 or else they're just gonna drive right by.
Oh, I mean, I've been to, like, the new one they built in Allentown, pretty close to 10,000 capability. I don't know if it's fixed seating, but
Right,
when they're all said and done, their opening show was Neil Diamond.
yeah, right.
So Neil don't play Erie.
No,
So they got 10,000 in Allentown, they just built it. Roanoke has one, that Roanoke same size Erie, Virginia, 10,000 seats.
right,
Richmond Coliseum, 12,000 seats, I think.
right,
And you go on and on, right?
yep,
10,000 is a magic number.
yeah. I mean, I was stunned that they didn't just get to that number. It's an important number when these promoters from
You know what that arena
Live Nation or
You know what that arena's like? That arena's like a college arena.
ours,
Yeah, because I was at an arena in Hattiesburg, Mississippi,
yeah,
it's a Division I school. That's like a Division I arena,
yeah.
but that's not an arena for a town.
No, I think that, I like the new bar area.
Yeah,
I think that's really nice, and there's usually a lot of people up there too. So that, but the ticket prices are double.
but the only thing that's gonna change, John, if we could, I mean, it would take some work and a lot of money, but The original design had seats all around.
which I don't know why, they have those, well, they didn't obviously want to shut off Holland, is what, only reason I could think of.
What,
Because if you put in those extra,
seats in the back?
yeah, to make it a bowl, then you have to shut down Holland
So
Street.
what?
I mean, I agree with you.
There's nothing on Holland anyway.
No.
You know, when they built the stadium in Cleveland, the one in Buffalo, this argument came up with Joliet. Well, now the, what's it called?
PMC Park.
BMC Park. They didn't want to close 10th Street, but, you know, other towns have done it.
Right,
Or you divert it, you know, buy the land across and divert it.
right,
But like the ballpark, no seats behind home plate.
right.
I mean, really, you know.
Yeah, why did they do that? Why did they?
Well, they had to because I remember when they built the arena, the ballpark, I wondered how they were gonna pull it off. Cause I worked there for years and I said, I looked at it and I go, that's pretty tight parking lot.
Yeah, right.
Now they did it, but they had to take the stands and flatten them like.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the way that the baseball field is designed, you do have the lower base, lower level
But
seats
nothing
right
like,
behind
no
plate.
upper deck seats.
But there's no upper deck seats. There's like a big gap
Yeah,
that goes out to the left and right field poles.
yeah, they call it unique, I call it, no, yeah, it definitely is unique, but
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I don't know why they did that, but
I think it's because of the design. To get the maximum seating, they were limited. Like on the right field line, you can't pitch the seats too steep because you don't have a lot of room. Where you had more room in home to left.
well, they're definitely I rode by there today. They're at it today, trying to, you know, make the upgrades and the weather's been perfect for them to do that. So, you know, you got to figure they got to be right on schedule to get that done, because the winter's been so mild, and you know, the water hasn't even frozen. The bay isn't even frozen this year. I don't think it's gonna freeze.
No, they say it'd be lucky if it does now.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost March. I mean, we're 1 week away from March.
Yep. But I'm amazed. Like, you know, one time they wanted to put seats in right field behind a fence. You know, they would have to close the sidewalk down or build the seats above. You know.
Right.
But it's always amazing how we don't like to change things in this town.
Right. And nobody wants to, I mean, we gotta start thinking out of the box a little bit and trying new things.
I mean, they had no problem closing 9th Street down.
For the stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Cause you have to I mean, technically, you have to come over 10th, or you have to go all the way, well, you can't, 7th Street's been closed for 2 years due to that construction. But eventually that's gotta be open. They're almost done over there, I think.
where, at the stadium?
No, at the Erie Insurance is.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close to.
So 7th Street should be opening back up. So that's a plus. But yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on these last couple weeks.
Yeah, you have trouble driving around town, but
Hey, progress is good. Anytime.
my only problem is you gotta put better warning signs up.
Yeah, well,
Cause you wind up driving down the street and you find out it's closed one day, it's open the next.
yeah, well, 7th Street's been closed for 2 years, practically.
That one is, but then they close, once in a while they close, they actually close 6th Street too.
Yeah.
So now you're really in.
Oh, yeah, right, when they were doing the overhead.
Yeah, so I mean, you got 6 and 7 closed, and you're coming off parade, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, right,
So now you go, oh my God, then you get into that narrow street.
right. So we have a new city councilman, Dave Brennan.
Yep,
I think that's new since the last time we met.
it is, and I'm not displeased I mean, David has, you know, architecturally, he offers a different perspective.
Yeah. I think he's got the experience, he's got the demeanor. I think he was a good choice.
I was glad to work with him on the preservation when we were talking about not just bowling buildings so quick, but
Right. I wonder if he's still involved with that.
I think he is. I think he'll take a bigger lead now in council.
Did it ever weren't they still talking about passing the building that?
Well, they got a committee actually working on it. And that's what you have to do. What you do is we appointed people on that committee to look it over, draft an ordinance.
Right.
That's the extent of it right now is that council authorized a committee, not a permanent committee, this is just a study committee, to look at how to draft the ordinance compared to other towns
Right.
and to come up with something that's fair.
Right.
And I think it's gonna be good because in the past, if you're my age, you remember all the theaters and everything got tore down.
Right.
So now they're saying, okay, not that you can't tear it down, but you gotta take a little deep breath.
Right.
And somebody's gotta determine whether there's, relevance to it and try to sell it first.
Right. Have you heard anything about what's going on with the hotel on 18th and State?
No, what, it's kinda, you hear
Somebody
that?
sold, I mean, they sold it. They're doing something over there.
Well, I know the city shut it down for a while.
Yeah.
It had a lot of, there used to be a first-class hotel too.
Oh, absolutely. When I remember when I was younger, they used to be a good hangout place to, was nice in
But-
there.
Well, you had the Dutch Pantry next door. There is one left in Pennsylvania,
Really, we're at.
out east. Trying to remember where I saw it. I'm threatening to say Lamar, but I don't think that's right. But it doesn't follow the same line,
Yeah.
but they kept the name. And they were one at one time, but of course the menu's different,
Yeah, right.
but they still keep the old Amish flair and all that.
We'll see that, some of the 70s architecture, I don't really
Well,
like.
you could redesign it. I mean, I remember years ago they put the windproofing on there. Cause remember how bad it was?
Yeah,
It was like a wind tunnel.
yeah,
And then, they had a first class, that bar was, it went through many names. It was, something to tomato, then it was, before that it was French Kate's.
yeah. You have, that and the old Hilton Hotel. I mean, all that 70s architecture. When you look at even this building,
Yeah,
when you look at it, it's kind of like, okay, but it's 70s.
well, if you look what Laura Eaton did, that building, they tore down the old sheathing they put on there.
on their shop.
Yeah, and went back to the brick.
Yeah, well, see, that was smart.
But see, back in the 60s and 70s, they were looking at, like what they did to PNC Bank. They put all that vertical sheathing on there.
Right.
That was the new modern look,
Yeah, right. I think I haven't heard much about. They got the curling league going on down there. Did you join up?
No, I don't.
No, why not? I was,
That's only half-size curling, though.
they're on wheels. I know. I saw it on the news.
Oh, you got,
It's not. There's no ice. I mean, you can't curl without
we
ice.
gotta make ice.
Oh, did you hear about the? This is a guy that It was in an NHL game. Two of their goalies got hurt.
Oh, the guy that came in.
Yeah. So they literally.
Well, he's not the first. He's the first to win a game, though.
He's the oldest too. 42-year-old guy. Pulled him literally off of a Zamboni. Put him in a uniform. Now you got to remember, this is in Toronto.
Yeah.
So he was the Toronto Zamboni guy. So the visiting team ran out of goalies. Now, how they decided to get this guy off of a Zamboni, and they stitched his, and they made him a uniform. He had Carolina out, and underneath it, he had Maple Leafs gear, and outside he had I think it was Carolina.
The only time I seen anything like that was they had a tremendous fight out at the field house.
Yeah,
And one goalie got hurt, one got kicked out of the game.
yeah. Kerry Walker and that whole crew.
Yeah,
out there.
and they brought in, Mike Caron, the trainer. Remember Mike?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They called in Mike.
Oh really?
He almost got kicked out.
Really? I remember. I used to love the field house. You could smoke out there and everything. There's another topic I want to talk about. Is
Oh, at the Civic Center?
yeah. But the field house days, that was like like this, like movie Slapshot. I mean,
What happened to our phone calls?
I don't know.
Still going, right?
See, yeah,
Yeah, well, you know, Slapshot was supposed to be filmed in Erie,
I do remember that.
but you know why they turned us down?
What?
You're gonna laugh.
So what?
The city looked too modern. We had cranes up at the time, and that didn't fit into their profile.
So they went to the
Johnstown.
Johnstown Chiefs. Yeah, right.
What happened there?
I don't know. Well, they're filming a movie. I saw down in Meadville.
They are?
Yeah, they got some, I guess, major stars going down there for some type of a movie. Where was I reading about that at? But you know, they like, you know, sometimes when they want the old-fashioned cities, you know, the small town look.
And they didn't like our arena either, which the field house at the time.
Uh-huh.
Well, they could have made the field house look old, but they didn't have to do it in Johnstown.
Right.
They had a building that was, you know, had the old seating and all that.
Well, we had bleachers. How much older can they get
Well,
than
no, it was
bleachers?
still new though, John.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I'm sitting here watching you guys go down memory lane. But didn't somebody say that the Dutch streets are out of business? Kaz, didn't you say that?
The Dutch Pantry?
Yeah.
I don't see them around, do you?
I think there's one down in Spartansburg.
There's one, I saw one out east, John, like around Lamar or something.
Down in Spartansburg, I think they call it the Dutch Street, though.
Yeah, they don't have the same recipe. I mean, they kept the name, but they don't have the same, what do you call it? It's like I found not two LBs, I found two big boys, John.
Oh, yeah?
There's one outside of Cleveland near the airport.
That's been a long time. They were a good outfit.
Yeah, they said the only big boys left are Michigan, Ohio, and, you know, around there, you know, or Illinois, I think.
Well, I know where you can get the biggest burger around.
Where's that?
That's down in Clarion.
Really? Is that the one that they change it every time the Penn State wins?
Clearfield. If you eat one of those Arabs, you get a T-shirt.
Wow. Hey, I was going to tell you what was I going to say about
Dutch Street?
No, I thought it was about LB's.
Elby's?
No, I mean about the old the closest thing to a big boy, you know, I'm not pushing business, but if you go out to Eaton Park, the Super Burger is they used to be what they called what would they call them in Pittsburgh? Not Manners, Frisch's?
I don't know. Only thing I think about
Shoney's, that's what they were in Pittsburgh.
Only thing I think about Pittsburgh is Permanis.
If they were,
I was gonna say.
I think the big boys had, they were Shoney's, Manners, Frisch's, they had different names around the country.
Oh, it's just like they do with spaghetti sauce. Some call it gravy.
Yeah, well, they were franchises. Ours was LB's, but the big boy, some of the stuff at the Eaton Park is the same thing.
That's true. You know, the best hamburger I ever had was on Parade Street.
Well, which one was that?
Kearns' Diner.
Boy, there's a name from the past.
He used to deep fry his hamburgers.
Wasn't he up by the Regent?
Right across the street.
Did the old timers tell me he had like a old cast iron fry pan that the handle fell off?
Yeah, well, everything he deep fried his hamburgers. He served them on Pullman bread, and you'd go there for beans, and he'd throw a tablespoon of ketchup in the beans all the time.
Now he was across from the Regent, right?
Yeah, right across the street.
What's there now? Just an empty.
Empty lot. That's where Country Fair is now.
See, on the west side we had the Hamburger Heaven.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, but.
Well, I used to get hamburgers right across from the Greyhound station, 6 for a quarter.
Across from it?
Right next door to the Greyhound station.
Yeah. Now what was that? Was that Nicholson's or was that?
No, Nicholson is on State Street next to Paris Steakhouse.
But didn't Nicholson's, wasn't that L-shaped and went through both sides?
No, it just went all the way down the counter. Carmen Romeo and...
Well, which restaurant went on North Park Row and State Street?
I don't recall.
I think that was Nicholson's later.
No, Nicholson's was right across from the hotel.
Yeah, but one of them,
next to Jack Paris' steakhouse.
We used to call it, the three of them, there was a greasy spoon, a greasy knife, and a greasy fork.
Well, there was Mary's Diner.
Yeah, then there was Nicholson's, Mary's, and what was the other one?
I
Was it the Avalon or something, or the?
don't know. There used to be one straight across the street from DeLuca's joint. There was a little restaurant there by the gas station, too.
I'm gonna ask the Bard, Jimmy Clem.
So, how many bars?
Well, he's the Bard, the B-A-R-D.
Yeah.
Then he has all the books in the back room over here. I'll take a look at them.
Yeah, well, I used to work for the Michaels there right on the corner.
Yeah, I remember you telling me something.
And I remember Babango used to play bingo every night or every Saturday at the Josephinium, and I'd have a car waiting for her, a taxi cab with 2 pizzas and a couple of submarines, and she'd always give me a $5 tip back then.
I remember I used to work at the Josephina when I went to St.
You
Pat's.
did?
St. Pat's kids, we all sold pop and coffee there at the Josephina. Yeah, that place was hopping back in the day.
Well, downtown here, he had a lot of these little shops.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one in the Richford too, John?
Yeah, there was a little shop in New Richford.
And one in the Commerce too, right?
Yes. So I remember Shuffles. Shuffles going up the street with his black spats and his hat.
Can we say his last name?
No, I won't say his last name.
Well, you know what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
he used to come around, he'd go like this, John?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you give him your buck or whatever it was. And
I remember Romolo. You remember Romolo?
downtown?
Yeah,
No,
Stefanelli. He lived in a hotel.
Ah.
And we used to have a sandwich and a pizza every Saturday night, and he'd tell me a lot of stories about the family and everything else, and the chocolate recipe. And before he died, he says they're probably going to split up, and they'll never have the chocolate the way we had it. That's when it was Stefanelli's.
Yeah. You know, the other day I went up on Federal Hill. You know where that is, right, John?
Top of Peach Street.
Yeah, 26 and Peach. And I went to that coffee shop, the Tipsy Bean.
Uh-huh.
And there's a place next door to Crepe. They're doing a nice job up there. It's,
Good.
maybe, John, the old days are coming back yet.
They closed that street off a lot, I noticed.
Are you there, John?
Where, the coffee shop?
Well, there's one up there, the Tipsy Bean and the Creperies next door. You
Yeah.
got Federal Hill Smokehouse. They're doing a nice job up on that hill.
Well, there's one down on, I spotted one down on 38th and Elmwood, next to Romeo's hair salon.
Yeah, I forget what they call that. That's the one where that Elvis hangs out.
That's a coffee joint now, John?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where Jimmy Moore hangs out. And then we got one downtown here too, the Ember Forge. So they're coming back, and it'll be nice if we get these little stores back like we used to have.
Oh my God, that little stores years ago. You know, we were painting the old house down on 2nd Street, that one that was built in 1812.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law and I said, we're going to stop in every bar from 2nd Street all the way up to 38th Street. And we never made them.
No, that used to be the old joke, but.
For sure.
The bar in every corner.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I can remember, someday I got to get together with you. There was one I remember when I was a kid. I gotta take a ride down the street, see if I got the right street in my head. But there used to be so many businesses downtown, even on the side streets.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you just didn't have State Street, but you had State, Peach, French, and in between, you know, on some of the streets you had viable businesses, you know.
Is the census going? When is the census?
You know where Herman's is, don't you? 26th or 28th Street?
Yeah.
I never knew there was a bar on German Street up around the corner.
Oh, that's Uptown Browns?
I can't think of the name
that
of
the
it,
one?
but
Yeah.
I was surprised when I went in there. We stopped in that one when we were painting, and we could not believe it.
Well, even going along Price Street, we used to have a lot of places.
Oh yeah, we used to like to go down to Hogan's on
Third
down the
grade.
way down the street from Mad Maddie's roller shop.
But I remember when they had, they had at least 1 or 2 markets on Parade Street too, though.
Yeah.
And they had, Levy's Market was one of my favorite stomping grounds as a kid.
Oh, Nate was a great guy.
Absolutely. That was the type of place where you could get fresh produce. And, if you lived in the neighborhood, you could run a tab with them. If you didn't have the money right then, you'd get paid on Friday. You could, say, hey, could you put this on my
ran
tab?
tabs in those days. John and Cherry, the Hoyers up on 3rd or 4th and Holland.
Yeah. The Bates.
Meacham's down on 4th and German.
Mm-hmm.
Perico even had a little grocery store.
He did.
Yeah, right across from, down the street from St. Pat's Church. Right on the corner there was a little grocery store. And then Snyder even had a fishing shop next to Meacham's, and there was a barber shop in there too.
I remember when Erie Insurance, all that used to be houses, and people, they actually lived there, and they're the ones that supported all the businesses downtown.
Yes.
Now nobody, only people that live downtown are, different.
Well, hey, he's trying to do a great job. I remember he bought the Fedorow's old house there on 5th Street, 5th and Parade.
Uh-huh.
Redid all that.
Oh, you should. Have you been on the 4th Street and 5th Street are gone?
Yep.
From Parade to Holland, it's just grass.
Yep.
It won't be forever, though.
No, they'll expand, but
Where you used to get the best pizza in town? 21st and Parade.
DeSilles?
DeSilles.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. I remember.
New York style.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, if our little league team won the championship, we'd go up to
For
DeSilles.
$1 and a quarter and eat a pizza right there.
Yeah, it was good for sure.
Well, let's get on. Maybe somebody else.
All right, thanks for calling, John.
Be good.
Kaz, what do you think about the airport announcing today that we, within the next 9 to 12 months, are going to be having direct flights to Washington?
I didn't hear that. They announced it today?
Yeah. Mike Kelly came through with a grant for Delta, I believe.
Well, for a while, Jamestown had a flight to Washington.
Uh-huh.
It was subsidized.
Well, that's what he did.
Our Philly flights were subsidized at first.
I don't know why we would do that, but
I was hoping we'd get one to New York or Newark.
Washington is good too. Any flight to a major hub is always a plus.
Well, good.
Other than Philly.
Well, they figured the government, the government will use that Washington flight. People have got to do business.
Yeah. No, I think to Washington makes more sense than Philly.
Oh, it does.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I want to get in on this old time stuff too, okay?
Let's
Go
hear it.
ahead. We love it.
Okay, this is back in the 60s now. A couple of us guys were monkeying around. And from Parade Street to the lake, or Bayfront through there, from Parade Street all the way to Hammermill, that area, there was 42 bars and clubs in 1960s.
I believe it.
That's how many were. We counted them one time.
Wasn't one of them the CYS down there too?
Yeah, CYS was down there. Nicer's Tavern.
Second and Holland down there.
Yeah.
There was a Nicer's Tavern. Yeah.
And then there was one on 2nd and Holland, 2nd and German, the
It was
CYS
one on top of the
club.
hill, right? Second and
Yeah, sat right on the corner of 2nd and Holland.
I remember the CYS was down there.
CYS was where the Hammett's Health South is now.
Was that where it was?
Yeah, it was between Peach and
What else was
Holland.
down there? Just
Nicer's was down there. Pixies.
you still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Give us a couple names there.
Pixies, remember that?
Wow, that's
Pixies was on 2nd and German.
Mostly, I was raised around East Avenue, but we were counting them. Down around East Avenue, there was Radu's Tavern, Krayinsky's Tavern, Spetz's Tavern,
Maze.
DCS Club, Romanian Club.
Oh, I forgot about those two.
You have Maze Tavern.
They're still there, Lakeview.
And you had the Lithuanian Club?
Lithuanian Club was an 8th and Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Sharpshooters, Minushko,
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, and who's ours? Fulton and the,
Bullock National.
Even on the west side, you lost the Portuguese club on the west side, but you had, he's right. I remember the Lithuanian, the GCS, Romanian.
All through there. There was 42. We counted 42 clubs and bars.
Now you figure that was probably easily about a couple hundred people working, because some of them had restaurants,
Yeah.
and that was your early day restaurants.
Yeah, most of those bars, there were corner bars, there were family bars. The owner had his daughter working there, or son or son-in-law.
And some had good food too, though.
we got that bar that's literally right on the tracks on 6th Street there. It's still there. You had a bar on 7th and Reed, I want to say.
But they were good places, and they all had, some of them had food though, too.
Yeah.
Good food, I mean.
Back in the day, you had people in those communities, everybody, had money from working at the mill.
How about 22nd and Ash? There was 3 bars in one corner, right across the street from each other.
Yeah, and then you have the Ozark Club there too now. Or not the Ozark Club, the,
Like, and there was one across the street, there was a Golden Goose. There were 3 of them within about 50 feet.
You know, my uncle owned a Golden Goose
that one?
a long time ago.
Really?
It was Mike's Cafe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because then you had, somebody said there was one up the street on Ash, near that park, near the railroad tracks. They tore it down.
Where at?
When you go to the fish dinners at St. Stan's, you come down Ash.
Yeah.
It was just before.
It was,
it was like 15
it was
or 16.
Millie's.
Is that what it was?
Millie's Tavern, yep. That was right there on,
3D's Polish Village was on the corner.
Where was that one?
That was on 14th and Ash.
That's the one he stopped.
yeah.
Polish
then
Village.
Then
Yep.
it turned into Millie's, yeah.
Ah, that's okay.
Yeah, because we used to hang out there a lot.
Holy crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all over.
Yeah, I remember they all had bowling teams and other, I mean, it was a who's who, but.
Now we have the Club Energy and,
You know what? Somebody told me they had all these bars back in the 40s and 50s and 30s. A lot of people didn't have cars.
Nope, and that's where you went to eat too, though.
Yeah, you went to eat, and it was in walking distance, and they worked in those factories all through those areas.
Right.
And they didn't go on vacations. They didn't go on vacations back in the 40s. They would go to the corner bar, and that's where they used to socialize.
And a lot of the guys on the way home from work, they would stop there.
you have Lakeview Tavern, you had the Swannies, you had, Ford's Tavern, right in this, and the On Deck Tavern, Ozark Club, Fulton Club.
Raffles was on 8th and Hess.
Yeah, just in that area, you have like 20 bars. And there was a place on Payne Street there, 7th and Payne.
Well, you look at the Italian section of town.
Lakeview,
You know, one time
Mays.
they had them along 18th Street, all through the.
Yeah,
I mean, every section of the city had.
yeah. I mean, that's just goes to show you that.
Or somewhere.
And they all had, like this gentleman said, there's a good bet they had family, and they had
Yeah,
at least a couple bartenders, some waitresses, some most of the time.
yeah. I mean, now you think about it, it's just amazing how many bars we had back then.
What was the old joke? A bar in the church.
Bar on every corner.
Bar in the church.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you really sit back and think about it, there's a lot of them.
Well, I took a ride like through New Italy one day, and I'm thinking, all the clubs that are gone now.
I mean, on East Avenue, you had Jack's Tavern. You still got Clancy's over there.
Look at Parade Street above now, where he was talking,
Yeah,
and you can see the ones that are gone.
yeah, right. You have the Polish Sharpshooters over there.
Hook the Minusco across the street.
And then you have what's the bar on the club on? Is that a Polish Sharpshooters too? Polish. It's on like 14th and Parade. It's right across from Country Fair up there. It's
Behind it?
no. It's on Parade Street. It's on the east side of Parade Street. It's a Polish. I want to say it's a Polish. I don't know. Sharpshooters is on 12.
Forsters?
Forsters. Yeah.
You still there, sir? Did he leave?
No, he just hangs up whenever he's done.
That's okay, but he brought up a good.
Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of good.
When you think how many people were employed, indirectly, directly.
Yeah.
You know, all the things that went into that. You know, you had the beer guys that delivered and all that.
I mean, was we just a bunch of drunks or what?
No, you know, I tell you, guys I used to watch us. They come home from work, had
Yeah.
a couple beers,
Yeah.
they went home, okay?
Yeah.
But like in the case where, when I lived on one side of town, we used to go to Hector's.
Yeah.
You didn't go to Hector's, you went on the other side of town, you went somewhere else,
Right.
and you ate there,
Yeah. I mean,
and people socialized there too. It was I
That
wouldn't say
would be-
they all got drunk there, but
see, nowadays they're trying to funnel people into clubs now. They're trying to do away with bars. They don't want people owning bars anymore.
they want clubs.
They want people to join clubs because clubs can be selective on who they let in and who they don't. With some of the problems that are going
Well,
on.
you know, the old bars had the bars were, like the gentleman said, they were neighborhood bars.
Right,
So every bar had their own character.
right. I mean, we really don't have neighborhood bars that much anymore.
I mean, there were some bars, even back then, I wouldn't go into.
Right, yeah, really.
I mean, you know, not be, just,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
and every bar had their own character, but,
Well, each ethnic group had their own hangouts.
and then some bars were specific to, they took on their own character, like, this is where the paper workers hung out, or,
Yeah, right. This is
Yeah.
where the GE guys go. This is where the hammer mill guys go. This is where the American meter guys
well, remember
hang
the one
out.
they had all the trouble with over by Tropicas?
The bar
Yeah.
right next door. You had like Lucky's
Well,
Chances or
I
whatever.
knew the kid that owned that, very nice guy.
Yeah,
And for years, he ran that, you know, that was one of the nicest places in town. Well, when the hair mill,
closed.
yeah, his business dropped off, you know.
I think the Lakeview is still open, but I think it's like a motorcycle club hangout or something like that.
But you know, when you don't have, workers with disposable income,
You don't have the right. We talked about that at length.
I mean, those mom and pop bars were happy taking a small cut,
Yeah, right.
you know, not making a,
Yeah, right. Well, you could get a shot and a drink for real cheap too back in the day.
and you could get a sandwich there, like real quick.
I think the bars downtown now are really nice. I think that, the Plymouth is always the Plymouth. You have Calamari's, then you have, for the younger people, you have the Docksider and whatever's next to that.
Well, see, now the kids today, it's a different generation. They're into craft beer and all that, so.
Yeah, you have
You
Jekyll
know,
and
your mom and pop
Hyde's.
bar is not gonna do that, so.
You have Jekyll and Hyde down there. You have, Big Bar is very nice. That's where I hang out at Big
What's a
Bar.
big bar? Where's that?
The old Picadillos, it's on 10th Street between State and Peach.
Oh, it's probably had many names.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're by where Stadium Lounge used to be.
Yeah.
The same guy, Dave Freeman, that owns.
Well, that used to be Daymore's I think it was
Yeah,
Daymore's when I
yeah.
was a kid.
Dave's Diner, and the next to it, Coconut Joe's. He's got a good setup because he's got that rocking in the summer.
Who, five? Where's Coconut Joe's now? They moved it?
No, it's still down there, but it's closing.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Dave's Diner and Coconut Joe's are both closing very soon. Unfortunately, because both places are very nice.
well, you know, that, like I remember way back when the Civic Center first opened,
Yeah,
you still had like Daymore's and the stadium, you had
Stadium
a
Lounge.
couple lounges open up, and
Yeah,
everything changes. Sometimes you don't know, John, if it's for the better or the worse.
you don't. The fabric of a neighborhood and the demographics and the ethnicities.
Before my mother died, we took a ride through where she used to live.
Yeah,
And I always was amazed when she ruled off the names.
yeah, right,
And these were all these were first-class places
right,
in what today we would call a transitional neighborhood.
right.
But back then, I mean, I can remember when I lived for a while down around Huron Street. You had the Calvary's Club, Nova Aurora Club, all with entertainment.
And the National Club.
And then you had Angelotti's, and they all had entertainment, though.
Yeah,
And good food.
correct. Go ahead, caller.
I got to give you 2 more bars before you get off the air.
Okay.
Bechto's
Yep.
and Mazdi's. We can't forget Mazdi's.
Now, I know where Pete was. Pete was up there on Peach Street.
Mazdi's.
Where was Mazdi's?
Off of Myrtle Street. Both brothers were cops. The 2 Mazdi brothers.
Pete Bechto's, so he was an old Purdue guy.
No, Bechto's.
Petey Bechto's.
No, this is down on about 5th Street, 5th and Chestnut.
Oh, you're not talking about the Bechto's up on Peach Street?
No.
Ah, okay.
And of course, you can't forget Pilato's, because he was a Yankee fan. Up on Maple Street.
There you go.
What was his name?
Pilato's. Seal Pilato.
Ah, do you remember, I was trying to think the other day, what was that where Miscusi's was, and it came back to me.
Biscuzzi's, that was
Martussi's.
Martussi's.
Martussi's, right?
Yep.
I thought Martussi's was on 22nd and,
No, it's on Scott Street.
yeah.
That's about 27th Street.
Yeah.
Where Parsay used to be the chef over at Vanacore. He bought the joint from Grossman. And now I think it's still Miscusi's down there.
But when you think about all those places, man, they were,
You know how much a big rib steak cost? Way back then, my daughter was small, we'd go over to Pilato's there, $1.50.
if you go to Nunzi's, on the board on Nunzi's,
Yeah.
he's got an old menu up there.
Yeah, I probably got one of his old menus in my house.
Well, that'll wake you up when you look at it. You go, are you kidding me?
Hey, John, make sure you call next week. We're going to have a couple guests joining us next week. We're going to have County Councilman Anderson, and I believe Rondina Nicola is also going to join next
Okay,
week.
you guys are about ready to go off the air, so.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here there. I got some business next week, John.
Thanks for calling, John.
John's going to run it for me, I hope.
Yeah, we'll be here. I want to get those guys on here and get some things straightened out.
When they're gone a couple weeks, sometimes that takes a while. Nobody knows if you're back.
Yeah, and I know they're sick of watching replays, but that's okay. Plus, it's nice out.
I get a lot of people asking what channel we're on, so.
Yeah, nobody knows that. The days, in the good old days, this show was on Channel 9.
You know what I ran into?
Who?
Actually, I got a phone call from DJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's temporarily back he's back in Ohio now.
I remember, that's what I thought.
He's not in the silver mine though. He said, tell the people I'm not mining gold or silver and I'm not smoking the magic weed.
He's not on the weed?
He's not in Colorado no more, so.
Oh, so he's come off the mountain.
He was back in Erie for a couple days on business.
What was he?
I said, we got to try to get him back on the show sometime.
Yeah, that's his voice on the tune that he created the video. I gave him the words, and he put it to use.
But he did give me a call. He said to say hello to you and all the people out there.
Good. Well, actually, Kaz, I think we are out of time because once that 3 o'clock bell,
Are you going to sing Happy Trails?
you don't want me to sing. You have to come to Rack and Roll when I do karaoke. Catch that. But yeah, that's after a few drinks.
I only sang karaoke once.
Yeah?
Allentown, PA, and what happened there stays there.
What happens in Allentown stays in Allentown. Go ahead, Mike. Hit the music.
Yeah, we went to a place in Allentown. It was a karaoke bar. It was fun. It was good.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Place